welcome to the first official episode of Degenerate Discussions. I'm your host, John. I've got my current co-host, Manny, with me.
Hello, hello.
We're going to be still sorting out how everything's going to work, getting in-house studio in Tennessee figured out, along with the studio still being there in Illinois. So welcome to the first official filming of an episode specifically for the channel. How's it going, man?
Yep. Dude, it's going, I don't know, man, a mixture. Life's tough, and it's also a lot of fun. Like, I didn't think I'd experience all the things that I've experienced, but, like, it's a lot to juggle, you know? When I think about balance and stuff like that, it completely goes out the window. There's too much to do to find balance. And I know that a part of it is that my time horizon for large goals are too small. Whatever. I got a family and like kids to feed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta get after it. Like, that's that's where I'm at right now with life.
You got a wife and little ones. That makes a whole different ballgame.
Yep. But that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to get after it. Shit's tough out there, but fucking loving life. You know, I appreciate it. You know. How about yourself, man? Came back from a crazy trip, saw neon blue water.
Yeah. So, well, I tried to see you on the way out, but you weren't feeling too well.
Mm-hmm.
Time got all fucky wucky. It didn't work out, but such is life. But yeah, drove out, hit up World War I museum over on the far side of Missouri, which was a good museum. I greatly enjoyed it. There was a lot more of the European experience in there than the American experience.
Okay.
Which was very interesting. Like,
yeah,
there were more United States military heroes that I anticipated to see in there than I saw. But it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. They've got the poppy field that you walk over right at the beginning with the glass floor. Really cool.
Hell yeah.
Up through Wyoming and Yellowstone, Nebraska, all that. Yellowstone's fantastic. Grand Tetons.
Dude, we want to go so bad. Yeah, we want to go to Yellowstone very bad. It's on the list.
I would recommend going in September when everybody's in school. If you can, avoid Jackson Hole. It's between the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone. It's always been a tourist trap, but it has recently been taken over by Pilates and yoga studios and coffee shops and just hipster California style stuff.
Hell everywhere. Yeah.
Traffic
civilization.
Terrible.
But the civilization hitting the West is pretty wild.
But yeah, so saw South Dakota, went up Devil's Tower, made it up into Canada, like you were mentioning, saw the really interesting color of water there in the Banff National Forest, which is pretty cool. I enjoyed driving through there. It was sketchy at times. Like,
was it the elevation? Like what?
Well, partially the elevation, partially the driving down the elevation.
Oh yeah. Did you take your car?
No, we utilized my dad's Suburban, but I still have to put my tent on top of it.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I know you're excited about that tent.
I had to
fabricate. Did it work well?
It worked fantastically. I had to fabricate the materials to make it the mount, but that was fun.
The tent is really unique. Do you actually mind telling people? Because I haven't seen it before, and it was cool.
So the tent that I've got, it's Free Spirit Recreation. It's the Highland 55, which they don't make that series to my knowledge anymore. But you can still buy like essentially new old stock off of other websites that had already purchased them and just had them in the warehouse. But it mounts to the top of your car. It's not a hard shell, so you unclip the fabric liner that goes over top of it, uncover it, grab the ladder, pull it out, and it just unfolds. It's really cool. So it's
Yeah,
like 55 inches wide by, I think,
I agree. It is very, very cool.
70 something inches long. I enjoy my tent. It's comfy, for me at least.
Hell yeah. So continue. What was the rest of the journey like? So the downhill was the scariest part.
Well, it was less about scary and more about I was in Canada going downhill faster than the speed limit
Okay.
in a lot of spots, and a lot of it could get windy. And it's like I'd seen officers with other people pulled over. I didn't want to get pulled over because I'm American. But it was still beautiful. The anti-lock brakes worked. Probably not necessarily how they were supposed to, but they did work. So going downhill, holding the brake, and it just shaking the car the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Which was sketchy as crap.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, no, that I understand.
But
I've gone through some roads that were super windy and high uphill, low downhill, but yeah, Canada. I've not gone driving through air.
the depending on where you go in Canada, it's like driving through like Montana or Wyoming. Some places can be up and down, but a lot of it's just going to be normal, flattish roads, rolling hills here and there.
Gotcha.
We did stop by. It's Princess Auto was the name of the store. And if I try to open one here in the States, I'll have to call it Bury the Lead Auto, because you go inside of it and it's like you took Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, and Northern Tool and put all three of them, all four together, and then added other stuff that those stores don't sell.
Okay.
It was
it massive?
Oh yeah, it was enormous.
Okay.
But
it's like there's no other way.
Yeah, like it was smaller than you would think, but it was still an enormous store, and they had so much stuff. And stuff you wouldn't expect a place like that to have. Like they had one, I think the aisle was probably 50 feet long of just ratchet straps of different shapes, sizes, types, everything. Electrical aisle, like just cords and plugins. And then a clearance aisle, which is just like random bullshit, like 10 signs you would hang up on the wall. Like, what?
Hell yeah. Princess Freight? Is that what you said?
Princess Auto.
Princess Auto. All right. Good to know.
It was called that because of the street that the original spot was on. It was Princess Street. But yeah, it's like Bury the Lead Auto Parts store.
Okay. Hell yeah. We were talking earlier. I'd brought up a book, Empire of the Summer Moon, and then you said that you had some stuff that you specifically wanted to hit today.
Well, I've got a whole pile here on the phone of different talking points. And one thing that's actually kind of interesting with the Empire of the Summer Moon, presentism is one that I actually wanted to talk about as a term. Do you know what presentism means?
I'm not sure.
It's essentially applying modern standards and values on prior times. So when people are like, oh, well, we know that people like Washington, he owned slaves, that means he's a bad person. By today's standards, yes, he would be considered a bad person. By the times he was in, he was just another person.
Yes.
But a lot of people they'll pick and choose when they want to hold people like that to that standard, which I think is kind of funny. They're like, oh yeah,
I agree with you. I feel like that really lays into. I remember seeing a lecture, and one of the professors was saying that if you were in Germany at the time of the Nazis, you were likely going to support them at some level. And it was like people in the class are always like, no, not me. And it's like, I mean,
on average,
it was that,
yes,
or there was no like there's no alternative.
Yeah.
Like it's very difficult to say that like you would be the few when you are currently a part of like the herd, you know?
Exactly. I do like that statement. It's like, by the numbers, everybody in the room would have supported the Nazis had they lived in Germany.
Like there were other options, don't get me wrong, but like to think that you'd be that guy. Like it's always easy to say,
Like Schindler was
read
not a
the
normal
playbook
person.
on Monday.
Yeah, Schindler was not considered a normal person by the day's standard. Because I think even George Soros was alive at that time, and I try to not get into all of his shit, but he's got interviews where he talks about having turned other Jews into the Nazis as a Jew.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, that's something I can't comprehend. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It does. When you think of the society,
The
like
smile he said it gave him.
Gotcha.
He didn't say he did it begrudgingly.
Okay,
Had
understood.
he done it begrudgingly, that would have made sense. But he didn't say it begrudgingly.
Gotcha.
I've got to find that clip again because it just like makes you want to punch people. It's evil.
Well, when it comes to presentism in Empire of the Summer Moon, it is very interesting because it takes the perspective of the Native Americans from the West through so many centuries.
Yeah.
And it goes through like truly it goes hardcore. It gives you the gory details. It follows individual families and like some of their specific stories going out into the West. And it's very, very unique. It's truly an interesting read. I got 15 hours in. No, I'm sorry. I got 12 hours in, and I think I have 6 more to go. I had to rent the book 3 separate times to get through it.
Does it get up to like the Lewis and Clark journey? Like, where does it end timeline wise?
That's half. Like that's almost halfway into it.
Yeah.
It discusses. It goes over some of the cultural differences between the Comanches and a lot of the different tribes over there, including like Comancheria, which was the entire plains land that ruled over. But it goes deep into their history, so touching base on like when they weren't even a fighting force, like they were no one to be taken seriously in the far beginnings of their culture.
Back when even
and not until
shit about them.
Yeah, and not until the Spaniards brought in horses did they truly take that and make it a part of their technology. Yeah. And then that's where like they get buck wild and they just go all through it. Play. Like a lot. They did not plan.
They didn't play. Once they had horses, they were out there just killing people.
Yeah. They did not play for sure.
Cormac McCarthy.
Actually, they played a lot. It touched on their culture as far as what the individual tribes would look like. It touches like on what the chiefs and structures look like, what it would take to be a war chief, which is literally just get a group of people and you're the war chief. There was no hierarchy. There was no connection in between the different tribes.
He with the biggest stick wins.
Yeah. And then you would get experience and notoriety, and then individuals would rise up, and then it really just became down to how many men do you have following you, but even that didn't matter as much as how many horses you had. Yeah. That was the main like monetary value that they had was horse meat, and that's how they, by weight, square poundage, the total amount of horses they had. They didn't like eating it that much, but I could go on for a very long time about Empire of the Summer Moon. Well, it is a very, very interesting book.
Talking a lot about the Comanche made me think of the book by Cormac McCarthy, Blood Meridian. Because the main character, who's never actually named, he's just called the Kid, winds up where he's at down near Mexico because he's essentially signed up to join an army group to go kill a whole bunch of Comanche because they've just been running around killing people left and right just because.
Hell yeah. Pillage, rape, scalping.
Yep.
Everything was on the table. They weren't into cannibalism though. There were other tribes out
Oh
there,
yeah,
but that wasn't their shtick.
yeah. The just so much weirdness.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, in this the book goes into the details of like what that would really look like them tracking people down, attacking them, and then stacking up their bodies high after scalping them, then like setting them on fire, some still alive. Like they go
Oh, yeah.
deep.
Yeah, they went hard in the paint, that's for sure. So so what all have you been working on lately?
Whew, all right. Um So my day job right now is going really well. We're doing so many different changes. We're strengthening our middle managers. This organization has, I won't say any names, but it has about 156 employees, PRN, part-time, all that jazz. And we support developmentally disabled individuals. And we are pretty good. Like the company itself has been around for over 50 years and they are good at their job. Like I'll say it like that. They have the right people in the right spots in the leadership team. It took a year and a half of me being there, of putting in multiple policies and things like that. But like they are real strong. Like I can't even say that all of it was on me. They all, had their own experiences in leadership before that. But I do think that giving them last year to understand the attendance policies, the discipline roadmap, and like all the different stuff to create the employee relations compliance side of the house. And then this year was all focused on leadership training.
Yeah.
And so I got all of my guys, we have about 30 leaders in total right now. And they went through an entire year of just hearing me talk. And we went over difficult conversations. One of my HR peeps hit attendance and time management. We rewrote a policy on it. I've implemented a discipline roadmap that they ended up all adopting now. And it's nice to see a company that wants to do well doing well. Like that's always nice to see.
So basically,
For
the company brought you in. They'd been around for a while, but they brought you in just to add a little bit of like, hey, we need some structure on the personnel side as opposed to the outreach side, just to help square things away, make it a little more organized.
Yes, accountability was big when it came to the reason they hired me, was they really wanted that structure set.
Yeah, that's hey, I can't do things like that, but I organize buildings.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing for my dad. Is so similar action but different applications.
hell yeah. And then Omni HR is currently finishing up a contract with Paychex. They are a $5 billion company, and we're contracting out with them for their PEO services.
Yeah.
Omni HR's current service offering is pretty much me. So it's being a fractional HR director. And with that, like not every company needs that. Some people need truly more full-time staff. Other people are at different stages of growth. And even from then, my style of HR is definitely not like the normal style of HR where it's hiring and firing and like we're letting it rock. Like, so I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Cool. But a PEO is a very unique HR business model. It's a third-party HR outsourcing model as well as an employee structure model for the company itself. It's a little complicated, but basically an LLC, they have to file an EIN. That's the business organization.
Yeah.
A PEO model actually takes the employees that would be under this EIN and then puts it under the big organization's EIN.
Yeah.
And they have it grouped up with others. And so then you get better deals on like healthcare, on different benefits. They also offer like HR services, like recruiting and things like that. So they are a huge and very different set of skills than what I would offer, which is more of the strategic, like let's scale, let's grow. But dude, I hate sales. God damn, do I fucking hate sales. Oh my God. If there's one thing that has truly kicked my ass on this entrepreneurial journey is that I don't like trying to sell people. Like, dude, I love HR. I love helping businesses grow and scale and like improve. And I genuinely want a good environment for every person. But fuck if I can't call someone and be like, hi, do you need HR services? God.
I don't know how to sell myself either, so that's kind of how that goes. Um, so more recently, kind of related to that, selling yourself. Not necessarily the right phrasing, but have you heard about them trying to bump for like a $25 an hour minimum wage?
No, I didn't hear about that. Is that real?
Yeah, I've been seeing that more often, which is actually one of the talking points that I was looking at. I utilize the word liberals on here, but that's not what I meant. It's primarily people that are on the left pushing for the really high minimum wages.
Well,
But
geographic is very important, or geography in this case. Is this state or federal?
They're asking for federal. And they want a federal $25 minimum wage. Like, oh my God.
This has to be like a small group. This can't be a major.
I'm not sure. I think
that's insane.
I believe it's associated with the Democratic Socialists of America. I have to look again, but I'm not sure. But something that I had thought of, and I'm curious to your thoughts on this, but essentially my phrase was, liberals tell people they're worth more money. So like the boomers are telling their kids and Gen X is telling their kids, it's like, hey, you're not worth minimum wage an hour at a job. You need to get more than that, even when they're in high school. But then they won't, if they are a business owner, they won't hire their own child. They advocate for mass immigration of unskilled labor so that they can pay these people that is absolutely low on the minimum wage as humanly possible. And then they complain that their kids are lazy because they told their kid, you're worth $15 an hour. They won't pay their kid $15 an hour. And they give that job to somebody else who barely speaks English and doesn't care if the job was $5 an hour. It's more than he was making at home. What are your thoughts on that?
God, it is a very interesting, like, that. I'm thinking of a hamster wheel right now, just going like a hamster wheel, just going and going and going. I absolutely agree that, like, I'll just take millennials for an example. They, as a group, were told as a generation, for the most part, I would say it was mostly on the liberal mindset, but even some Republicans stated that if you go to college, then you will find success. Like that was the picture that was given out. It was spouted, to multiple different generations and multiple different areas. Like this was truly, I would say, all of America.
Oh yeah, all
obviously there's going to be places that weren't, but yes, like it was truly a widespread mentality. And those kids went to college and they are struggling to find a job. And I will say that whatever political way that we're trying to do it, there are definitely issues. I don't know if I would truly say that it's just on liberals, though. Like, I would say that life's tough and you have to work hard. And I will say that that mentality is not always as adopted on the Democratic side.
Well, so it's less about like the people who have gotten a college education, even though that's part of it. But it's like Gen Xers telling their kids, like, well, you're a high schooler actively in high school wanting to get a part-time job. You should tell them that you're worth $15 an hour. No. Like, you're not worth $15 an hour until you can prove that you're worth that to the business.
I think even that, it depends on your mentality, on your relationship with money. And I think that the parents' idea on the relationship with money, that's how they teach their kids.
Yeah.
And so I do agree that there are certain families that they teach, be more than you're worth kind of mentality, like, go out, earn, and there's a certain level that you shouldn't accept below. And I mean, that's where kids learn their standards. So I'm not disagreeing with you that is most certainly happening.
Yeah. But then those people won't even hire their kid at that wage. Like, that's the one that I've seen is funny. They won't hire Americans at that wage. They'll hire someone that has come in from another country who doesn't care that it's a minimum wage job. It's like the argument that I've seen, well, who's going to pick our crops? Now everything's going to be really expensive. Well, why the hell were you paying the migrant workers no money an hour to pick the crops? And then telling your kid that they shouldn't go pick crops for that kind of money because they're valuable. I don't believe that I was ever worth minimum wage as a worker because of the experiences from my dad. But that didn't stop me from getting paid minimum wage for like a couple of jobs until I had a marketable skill like lifeguarding. $10 an hour was basically base pay for a lifeguard.
Hell yeah.
I had a skill that had to be earned. That's the kind of thing that I was looking at. Unskilled labor isn't necessarily worth $15 an hour if they've never done it before.
Yeah, that is, skilled labor is truly something. I mean, but there's a lot of different skills that have monetary value.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it depends on what you bring to the table. And I don't think that's based off age. Like, the skill-based idea as far as getting paid your skills worth, I really think that is truly, like, there's some merit to that mentality.
Yep.
And I think that people do overestimate their abilities without it being proven.
Yeah.
Like, they think they're capable of more than they actually are. And that's terrible to say, but like, you haven't done anything yet. Like, you haven't mastered a skill. You haven't spent the hours. You haven't studied like the excessive amount that it takes to actually to be good at one thing that is actually valuable with money.
Yeah, I think over like summer breaks that high school students should be hired on by like construction crews. It's like, okay, this week you're going to work with the concrete finishers. Next week you get to work with the guys that poured the concrete.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of stuff that like, you can connect trades with high schools. That relationship, a good one, is very valuable. Like, it is definitely a great way to get kids to gain skills, to get job experience, to find out what hard work feels like.
Oh yeah, like I've seen schools here in Tennessee that have like machine tool programs in them, or they've got welding in the high school. Our high school didn't have welding. It had an automotive program for a minute.
Yeah, it was gone by our freshman year.
But all they did, it left because all they did was smoke weed.
Hell yeah.
That's all they were doing. Those buildings still smell like weed.
That's all you gotta do, my
man. Like, they had the wood shop class, but every year they kept changing their prerequisites to get into the wood shop class until our senior year, where they removed all prerequisites.
I never took our woodworking class. I didn't even realize they had one. I don't remember seeing that on the list.
I had known about it since 8th grade, which was part of the reason that I had taken geometry in 8th grade, because originally the only prerequisite for it was having taken geometry. So
that's cool.
Because geometry was a 10th grade class, that limited the wood shop to juniors and seniors. And then when we finished 9th grade and I was putting in for classes, I went to wood shop. It's like, well, now you have to have done trigonometry.
God damn.
Oh.
That seems unnecessary.
And I don't remember. I think it was going into our junior year, they had made the class just strictly seniors only anyway. And then going into our senior year, no prerequisites for the class.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm not taking
And it
the
was open
class.
to even freshmen?
Yeah, no prerequisites. Like, I am not taking a class with a bunch of freshmen around power tools.
That's awesome. I could see algebra and geometry. Like those do kind of make sense for woodworking.
Yeah.
You know, measure twice, cut once. Absolutely.
Yep.
Trig, like, nah, they're just fuck with you at that point. Like they saw you and were like, nah, fuck you, kid.
Fuck that guy. He probably has a book at home that has the trig functions in it. Damn right I did.
Yep.
And then they're like, but all the trig functions we're going to do in class are not real. Like, if this is your sine and this is your cosine, what's the tangent? That's physically impossible. Fuck off.
Yep. I can proudly say that I did not take trig.
I called my teacher's bluff one time because it was like algebra 2 and trig.
Mm.
And I'd asked the teacher, I was like, so what's a practical application for trigonometry outside of teaching it in a class? She didn't have an answer. I brought in pages out of a machinist handbook, had all the trig functions on it. I was like, look, all the math has been figured out for the people that make shit. This book is older than you are. What am I doing in this class? You don't even know what the class is for.
Trig. What is trig for outside of those? I can only think of like specialty fields.
It's for
like maybe bioscience and things like
so
that.
It's not even for bioscience. It's for building things, and it's more engineering than the actual building.
Oh, really?
Because you've got to figure out like stress points and where, like, if this is my angle, I have to figure out how to make that angle with another piece. That's where trigonometry comes in: sine, cosine, tangent, and utilizing different mathematical equations to figure out your angles, load-bearing areas, and how the load will be borne upon stuff. So you use it in building a building, but typically it's the engineers that do that when they're making the blueprints.
I think I'm going to die without that skill. I think I'm going to make my whole life, and I don't think I'm going to get that extreme in engineering.
I'm hoping that one of my nephews does, because he's smart like that.
Yeah,
but
is there like a particular reason? I'm like waiting for you to be like, I want to build some cool shit with him. Like, is it just you want him to have this?
Like, so my nephew can look at a puzzle and just put it together. Like, he's not do the edges and work your way in or whatever. He's like, pick up a piece and know where it goes in the puzzle. And the second time he does it, he doesn't even have to turn the pieces over to see what's on them. He puts them where they go, picks them up bottom side, and just puts them where they go. It's astonishing. Nice. His brain, the way that he functions, is awesome. But
how old is he?
I want to say that he's 8.
8? Okay. I'm just trying to like mentally picture like what level of skill this is on what age, you know?
In excess of 100-piece puzzle by himself in under 2 hours.
Hell yeah.
And
I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Each time he does it, he gets faster on each puzzle because he remembers where the pieces go. It's astonishing.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you were to go and like pick up a piece and put it in the wrong spot, he'd pick it back up and put it where it goes with no other pieces around it. It's astonishing to see. He's so smart. But I want him to get...
Trig it is.
I want him to get practical, like, engineering experience, like making, like, seeing how things are made before he goes into the engineering side, because some things physically can't be done. That does not stop an engineer from putting it on paper.
Not yet. Yeah, exactly. See, we got to make stuff happen.
Oh, no, like, I mean, this needs to have a half-inch gap, but the half-inch gap needs to only be a 1/4 inch thick. engineers will put that on a blueprint and then wonder why
Hell
you
yeah.
can't make a half-inch gap a quarter-inch thick.
Hell yeah. What do you mean? Make it happen.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's like I want him to go into the engineering field because he can make a shit gob of money doing that.
Yeah.
But I want him to know how to make stuff first so that when he's engineering things, he's not thinking like the engineer only. He's also considering how it has to be made. Because that's the thing.
Yeah. It definitely seems like more hands-on experience would be a beneficial skill with that. Like you can understand the math and things like that, but if you don't understand the physics behind reality, like
Yeah. It's
you can't
like,
go too complex.
you know, the Master and Commander film,
Mm-hmm.
boat movie?
Yeah.
So the guy that wrote that book had never sailed a boat in his life, but he knew all of the stuff about it. So the captain had taken him out onto a boat. It was like, clearly this guy knows how to sail a boat. Like, you can't know all this and not know how to sail a boat. And the dude had
Yeah.
no idea how to fucking sail a boat. Captain was regularly having to like, no, get away from that. You're gonna break something. Like, have
That makes sense. That's like being book smart but not knowing
exactly.
there's
He
no
knew,
practical application.
he knew all of the words and what it should do, but he didn't know how to make it do them, which is just funny to me.
Yeah, that's definitely an important part of the task. But to be fair, I guess that comes down to, are you creative or practical? Like that dude was creative and could not have any practical
No,
application on it.
he'd read the book, but he didn't know what to do past. Or he wrote the book that described how to properly sail, but knew nothing about actually sailing.
So is life.
Yep. So,
What else have you been up to, man?
uh, well, I finished my machine tool class and I started welding class, which I've done some welding before, but I'm hoping to learn like aluminum and stainless and cast iron, um, and get more experience on TIG.
I don't know what TIG is.
It is tungsten inert gas. It's the one that people do like the very fancy colors with on like stainless steel.
Oh, okay.
It's also the type of welding that was utilized on the space shuttles.
Oh, that's dope.
The welds have to be like absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And so a lot of TIG welding. It's very slow, very tedious.
Yeah, but at a point like that where I think pressure is so important.
Yeah, and so it's like I'm not very good at TIG. So I'm going through right now, I'm doing all of the tests. And once I'm done with the tests, I can do them again for certification. And then once I've got my certifications out of the way, then I can just basically do whatever I want in the class, which is kind of my goal because I can make things and build stuff, which I've already done some of. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
Do they just let you, like, it's kind of like an open space
kind of
that you're allowed to kind of just do free as long as you're certified? Like, is that like the prerequisite to be?
So I could, because I know the instructors at this point and they know me to a degree, because I've been meeting them repeatedly over the last year and a half anyway. They know that I actually have a brain inside of my skull and can do things and have done other welding before. And so basically, I can do whatever I want, but I want the certs first, just so I can brush up on like all of the skills, make sure that I've got it going properly, and then branch more into other stuff.
Nice.
Because I've even helped with building stuff for the instructors. They're like, hey, I need some of this stuff stuck together. It's like, okay, I got you. I don't want to
Hell
work
yeah.
hard. Have a nice day.
What's your ultimate goal with going to this particular school and getting these skills?
Having the skills and being able to utilize them at my leisure. So if I want to make
Gotcha.
something, like, if you come up and you're like, hey, I was thinking about having something made, blah, blah, blah. This is what it would cost for me to go buy one. Would we be able to build one cheaper? Kind of thing.
I don't know why that concept seems so crazy to me. You want to go to school just for the actual skill itself? That's crazy. Everyone goes to college, everyone gets certifications. They do it because of the XYZ of after they get the piece of paper, the degree. It's so rare that I see someone that goes to a class to actually learn what's in the class.
Well, I mean,
what has this world come
because
to?
of where I'm at this point, like I'm utilizing GI Bill. I like being able to work for my dad and with my dad, and I like where I work for my like regular job that I've got at the axe throwing venue, and so I can do all three of those simultaneously with school. I can go to school, work there, and work for my dad, and just learning more things and being able to make things. That's like, hey, I need one of these. Cool. Let me go weld that up real fast. Just build stuff.
Yeah. I'm shooting. I mean, I am actually studying for a certification right now. It's SHRM, so it's Society of Human Resource Management. I'll be honest, I don't love their. This is kind of tough. Their information itself is pretty sound, like the tactics, the tricks, like their ideas on definitions and things like that. Like, it kind of makes sense. I don't love the rationale. Like, I don't love the morals, the ethics. Like, the direction that they go on that angle doesn't always jive with me. Like, sometimes we'll come to the same outcome, but the way we got there is different,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And like, I'll study up and do stuff like that, and I'm like, bro, they're teaching us to be snakes. Like, fuck, man.
Well, see, like but what you're learning there has been my experience with HR the whole time.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, dude, they train it. They train it in people. That's why I say, like, I don't view myself as typical HR anymore. Like, I see, if that's typical HR, like, I can't call myself that confidently.
Well, so that's like the joke that I've got with my dad. The industry standard. So industry standard and the type of work that Dad and I do is it looks good for my house. And anybody that tells you that is not the industry standard is lying. Because when like putting up a fence or making fence, whatever, doing on-site repairs, building gates, any of that looks good from my house is absolutely the industry standard. Because I see so much work that's just absolute dog shit from professionals. It pisses me off. So I don't do the industry standard. It needs to look good while I'm fucking looking at it.
Dude, that's real, man. Like, stuff that people view as best practice just isn't. And like, what people view as a standard, what's that? Is that cologne?
Nope.
Is that whiskey?
Pre-made old fashions.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
I keep them in a book.
Obviously, as all rational people do, John.
So I got the idea for that actually from the bar in the basement of the Mob Museum in Vegas.
Dude, I wanted to get a that sphere, the globe with when you open it up, it has like the alcohol and stuff. I wanted to get that for my office at work. I talked myself out of it. I was so.
Oh,
I'm like, this is a great idea.
it's a fantastic idea. You definitely need a globe bar.
Yeah, with like fucking. I was like, I just need one bottle. Like that's it. Like that's not crazy, right? I see executives do it all the time in TV.
You just have like a bottle of
I talked
wine,
myself out of it.
and a glass. Wine with lunch, have one glass, and go about your business.
There you go. Be like, hey guys, look, I'm Italian. It's all good.
I'm Cuban. It comes with the sandwich.
Hell yeah. Wine does not come with a sandwich. No, if it's Cuban, it's got to be rum.
I mean, you did grow up in Florida. You could make it wine.
Yeah, some
uh,
Floridian wine.
that's something I wanted to ask you. What were your thoughts on Hassan Piker and the pink socialists going down into Cuba and claiming that the Castro regime was like the best thing to ever happen to Cuba?
I actually didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, so Hassan Piker and a bunch of his other champagne socialist rich friends went down into Cuba when they're almost completely out of oil. Stayed at a 5-star luxury hotel, the only one on the island, basically. Just having parties, burning oil, everything was lights on like all the time. Like, I don't think they went out in town except like maybe one time. But it's like you're only allowed to go here because we're not going to let you in to see the rest of the country. And then when he got back to the States, the United States government's like, we're putting you under investigation for uh, it's not coercion, but the phrase for like working with them,
Collusion.
collusion, for colluding with communist government. Hassan Piker, he's absolutely the poster child for why we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
That's not a good idea.
His mother was flown to the United States to give birth to him, and then he was taken back to Turkey and raised in Turkey in order
Oh,
to.
interesting. I don't know his background.
Yeah. You've heard of Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks?
I think so. Yeah.
That's his uncle.
Huh.
And his uncle had to fire
Okay.
him because he's a prick. But he essentially went back to Turkey and was raised to be anti-American.
Mm.
And then once he was old enough and solidified in his anti-American pro-communism views, was sent to America to be a disruptor of American society. And he can run for president because he's a natural-born American citizen. He was born here.
Yeah.
And then immediately, like literally as a newborn, taken back to Turkey and raised there until he was an adult.
Mm.
A lot of Chinese people do the same thing. I think they're in excess of 100,000 Chinese babies born on the island of Guam.
And then just taken immediately back.
Mm-hmm. There's like 40,000 people that live in Guam, and there's 100,000 naturally born U.S. Chinese citizens.
That's a great government and military tactic. Damn.
Oh yeah, like
that's like as far as tactics go, that's pretty fucking sound.
And the only reason they can get away with it is because Obama opened it up back in 2009. Because it used to be like, I think 5,000 Chinese people a year were allowed to go to Guam, like total. And it's like, oh yeah, no, unlimited amount can go to Guam now. They literally have, they busted up rings of birth tourism to Guam.
Is it the Chinese culture is very unique because one, they've been around for so long and they've grown with that culture. But they're an interesting entrepreneurship, but for the government like mentality, like we truly want to do our best. We're all in this together. Like they have a very interesting culture.
They're fascists.
Is it the people that are doing this, or like is it a part of like the government
So
idea? Like what is the mentality of the people actually committing these acts?
So there are government benefits to them doing it. Like the government will give them benefits for it. But essentially, if you think about like the anchor babies for illegal citizens right now, woman comes across the border, the southern border, gives birth, she can't be kicked out because she's got to tend to the child. Essentially, what the Chinese are doing is they can have birth, go back to where they were at, raise the child, send them to the States in the future, and then they now get to sponsor the parents and bring them with them. So they anchor baby in the opposite direction, essentially.
Gotcha. Is it because Chinese people want to come to America? Like, is that the mentality, or is it?
It's because China wants to become the dominant power in the world, and the Chinese people are willing to absolutely do whatever it takes to allow that. And so that's why we've also more recently had a string of Chinese Americans selling military secrets to the Chinese government. Like the guy that was trying to sell our HIMARS system.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese American got busted trying to sell that to China for like $12,000.
That's not a lot of money.
No, it's not a lot of money, and that dude's going to prison for the rest of his life.
Dude, treason is like it's gotta be
like millions and millions of dollars.
My man got the book and a life sentence just for $1,200 is fucking insane.
Yeah. But they that was also I don't remember what base it was. I don't think it was Fort Lee in Virginia. But there was one where a bomb threat had been called into the base. And then they couldn't find the bomb. And then another threat was called in, and that's when they found the bomb.
And where was that at, you said?
I've got to look what base it was.
Just like what country was it?
It was here in the United States.
Gotcha.
Okay. But the perpetrator was an Army veteran, Chinese nationalist, US born citizen who fled to China with his sister, and they left their mother behind. And then his sister came back into the country and immediately got snatched up by the FBI.
Yeah. Not a lot of options there.
Yeah.
What is your source of information? Like when you like learning stuff, I know you do it from a lot of different angles. What are some of your preferred?
So for just a basis, I'll start with a couple of like history content creators on YouTube. Because I like the way that they speak, and they list their sources. So
anyone in particular you want to shout out?
Well, two of them in particular, Stock Huey, Stephen Bell. He's a History of Everything podcast, and History with Stock Huey, and he's ended up making like 3 or 4 different YouTube channels because they all he was doing something and then it kind of changed to what was going on, and then it's like, well, hold on, let's just reassert and move over here, and this one will stay what it is now, and do that again. And the other one is the Lore Lodge. Of course, Fan Electrician's got a lot of history stuff too. Gives me a place to start, and then I can find sources and go through, read stuff offline myself. find books. If I can get a hardcover book, I'll do that from time to time. It's been a while since I've been to the library, but I've been to a bookstore just to look around, see what they've got historic wise.
Yeah, dude, I love the Libby app. That's what I use for my books. I like a lot. I also go to the local library.
The, depending on how it goes, I do use Audible quite a bit.
Okay, hell yeah.
Because
Yeah. What when you are like, how do you get inspiration to go down a rabbit hole on a specific topic? Like, are you like, is it the year? Is it that you just randomly like hear it, or is it like, what is it that you're just like, this is what I want to learn today?
so kind of it's ADHD brain. I'll go through a couple of different topics, and it's just whichever one piques my interest at that time. And so there was one that I had already known about. I learned more about it today. The reason that the Marine Corps still exists is because back in 1946, when they were trying to get rid of the Marine Corps, after they like figured out, okay, we're going to do this with the Air Force and blah 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 blah, whatever. They're like, we don't need the Marine Corps, we have the Army. And then some really
How
bad
dare
shit.
they?
So
How dare they?
well, that's what had been done with every war prior. We start the Marine Corps, we fight the war, we disband the Marine Corps. That was a long history of doing that. Until
To be
after,
fair, now we have an entire department of just psychos. So I mean, I get their mentality.
well, see, we're not even our own department though. We were our own department
Yes,
before
now you're
1947.
you're our
Yeah.
little buddy now.
We served with the Navy from the beginning, but we were an independent department, which is what's funny.
Yeah, and somehow ridiculously, your guys' birthday ended up going behind ours just because of some accounting issues.
Y'all's is October 11th.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the year. Originally, the Navy was founded first, but your years ended up getting switched because when the Navy reorganized, it started at the new year, and the Marine Corps ended up just saying, nope, when we first started is when we first started, and kept that every time through.
Because
So just our years ended up getting switched over, although we are technically older.
oh yeah, like I thought they were celebrating 250 last year, just like we were. Because I know the Army was.
Yep.
I know
That's because of that change.
the Coast Guard is the funny one. That was like 5 or 6 years prior to the Army, because the Coast Guard was weird, and they're like, "Yeah, we're the oldest branch." It's like, no, you're not. That was the British. They were the Coast Guard at the time. What the fuck are you people talking about?
That's interesting. I never made that connection. Was that accurate? Were the British the Coast Guard? I mean, that's technically accurate during that time frame.
Yeah, like their Navy acted as a coastal guard. That was part of the reason that we had issues with like Boston Harbor, where they blockaded the harbor after the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, but is the current iteration of the Coast Guard? I know that they were coastal guards.
Yeah.
But is the current iteration of the Coast Guard actually linked to, like, directly to the British, like the year of their founding?
They claim that that's when America founded its Coast Guard, which is like that doesn't make any sense. It's like, we had a coastal guard, and that counts. It's like, no, it doesn't. That doesn't count. But I thought that shit was kind of funny. They're like, yeah, we're older than the Army. No. We didn't stand up a Continental Coast Guard 5 years before we stood up the Continental Army.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what we started talking about, how I figure out what I want to learn about.
Yeah.
So the reason that the Marine Corps still exists is because 3 jackasses who were imprisoned on Alcatraz decided to try to break out, and they wound up
Mm-hmm.
killing a handful of guards and wounding a handful of guards. And they had called in the army, which I didn't realize that they had called in the army originally. And the two army generals that they called up read the law, and they're like, this doesn't say anything about we can't send the Marine Corps in to do this job, because it literally said that you could not send the army to deal with problems on their soil. And nowadays
Yeah.
it says like you can't send the army, the navy, the air force, the Marine Corps, or the space force to do certain things on American soil.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought a handful of Marines from, I believe, Guam, who had been dealing with the Japanese, who had not yet surrendered, because a bunch of those still existed. And it's like, yeah, we'll do this. Wind up with like 500 grenades. They've got rifle grenades that you like put on the end of your gun and shoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Mortars, bazookas. And he showed up with everything. Um, and they like shooting, like, we're going to put holes in this wall and we're going to just shoot grenades down into it. And when we're out of rifle grenades, we're going to lower hand grenades in and pull the pin with a string. And dear God, 500 grenades in a hallway is insane.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot.
But because of that, we got to keep the Marine Corps, because amphibious landings, taking islands, like, that was our whole gig.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, I do remember practicing small boats with the recon guys. That was a lot of fun. They taught me whatever.
the little
I don't know.
Zodiacs.
And yeah. I don't remember any of the names. Dude, I forgot so much stuff about medicine, about like tactical ops. Like I was a designated marksman for a while, and I don't even shoot anymore.
The one thing you need to remember as far as ops is you navigate buildings and staircases with a healthy amount of fragmentation grenades. The Army utilizes a lot of flashbangs. Marine Corps, M67 fragmentation grenades.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That checks out.
Oh man, the fact that that's in our like the Mount Bible, MOUT, military operations on urban terrain. It's like doorways and stairwells, grenades everywhere, frag grenades, and you can just download that shit offline. We allow our enemies to see what the Marines are going to do when they get there, because them knowing about it's not going to stop us from doing it.
Hell yeah, man.
Lure them into a false sense of security. This is how it's going to act. And then the room blows up. Oh, so much fun. What are you doing for the 4th?
Yes, it was. I don't have a lot planned, honestly. Actually, tomorrow, a local city around here, not the city I live, but one not too far over, is supposed to be having like a little, a freaking event thingamajig, like carousels, a fair. Jesus.
Fair.
Yeah, they're having a.
You're gonna have a carnival. So there's gonna be connies everywhere.
Exactly. Yep.
It's gonna be dudes high as giraffe pussy on drugs, selling tickets to your kids, pressing the button on the roundy toys.
Look, if you want a fair, you get a fair. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think tomorrow I'm doing a shooting event with a buddy of mine who is actually from not far from you, and I believe his sister still lives up there. You know, O'Fallon.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's where the fair is.
Yeah, that's where he's from.
That's fucking funny. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I drive by O'Fallon all the time.
Yeah, but he's another prior service guy who was stationed up on, I don't even remember the name of the base. The one up in Clarksville, I don't give a shit because it's an army base for one, and two, I don't want to go. I have no interest in going on base. Why do I care?
I understand. Dude, there's a base close to here, and I've never tried getting on. Like my military ID, the last one that I had got, expired a while ago, and
Do you have a
I've
VA
had
ID?
zero intention of going back on. No, I don't.
You should do that. At least get set up because it is insurance, and it's at least insurance for you. I don't
Oh,
know if it
interesting.
technically covers down to your kids. I know it wouldn't cover Becca unless you were 100%.
Gotcha.
But it might cover your kids. I don't remember.
Hmm,
But it's like if you break your arm, you go to the VA for free.
gotcha.
So,
I have other insurance. I don't care that much right now.
yeah.
If I ever like really need it, it's always nice to know that I
Yeah.
have that option in the back pocket.
Well, and that's another reason that I can kind of just do whatever I want is Marine Corps broke me and I get a monthly paycheck for it.
Hell yeah.
Like knees, shoulders, ankles. It's like, God forbid if I'd gone and seen actual combat, probably be losing a leg.
So is the Marines, my man.
Dude,
That is
like just being
damn.
like not even in combat, just being on base is dangerous for your health in the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Um,
I remember I was talking to Becca recently, and she reminded me of the last mission that I almost flew, and it was like I call it now certain death. Like that was like I recall it, and essentially Northern Africa, there was an item that was dropped there, and there were at least 3 separate enemy forces that wanted to get this item. We had 3 MV-21s. No, I'm sorry. We had 2 MV-21s, no other air support. Our flare, all of our like anti-weaponry and armaments, all of it was not functional. So we were anticipating the enemy forces we were anticipating were Chinese, Russian, and African
yeah.
warlords. And so with that, we were like, let's fucking go.
Oh hell yeah.
And all the infantry guys, all the ace guys, everyone was just like, I'm the opponent with this, guys. Let's fucking get this shit. And they ended up setting us down. We ended up not going, which sucked too because it was right at the end of the deployment, and it was the very last mission at the end of the deployment. They'd already extended us like 3 extra months because this was at the peak of COVID. And I don't know about peak. It was actually it was 2021. So wherever mentality that puts
that
you.
was still peak as far as a lot of people were concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, and they didn't let us come back to the States, so we had to stay up in Spain. But that's where this came, is we were right around the Gibraltar Strait. So everywhere North Africa and then like Greece, Spain, we were the QRF for it. And yeah, this mission came up, we stationed up, we were all in like I called Becca and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to talk to you for a while. That's it. I can't tell you where I'm going, I can't tell you what I'm doing. And she was like, and she told me afterwards, she was like, oh my God, he's going to die. That was, so I didn't die. So that's cool.
I mean, it'd be very difficult to be having this conversation if you had. But
Yep.
did you die?
So still made it.
Yeah.
But did I die? Not yet.
But yeah, but going in, getting seen, and being in the system, even if that's all you do, it would be the sooner you do it, the better. Because you don't want to try getting into the system while you have the broken leg.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But yeah, and so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's less good, sometimes it's complete shit. Like I had a like an annual checkup scheduled for like a week ago, but I wasn't able to go because I was gone. Um, and I called them up like 2, 3 weeks prior to my trip. I was like, "Hey, can I reschedule this?" It's like, "Yeah, we can reschedule it. The next opening is September."
this
Fucking
is the
what?
VA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, "Oh yeah, you have an appointment in June. We can get you in September." Fucking what? It's insane. Like, good thing
Dude,
I
and
didn't have
imagine if
any.
it was an emergency. Like that's
Well, so that's the
I've heard the
thing.
VA healthcare has been a true issue for a lot of people.
Under the emergency stuff, if you're already in the VA system, then you're pretty well covered because I can go to the Vanderbilt emergency room
Mhm.
and be taken care of. But the fun part is I can go to the Vanderbilt emergency room and they'll drag me around the wall to the VA hospital emergency room,
Nice.
which I've actually been to that one before when I wrecked my motorcycle back in 21.
Mm.
They wanted to do a bunch of x-rays. They had me standing up, and I wound up throwing up because I told them it hurt. They're like, "Oh, it can't be that bad. Throw up everywhere." It's like, "I think we can get the rest of these with you laying down." Fucking thanks, asshole.
Yeah,
I'm not cleaning it up either.
ridiculous.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, look you guys. Yeah. So they were like, "We don't see your kind here," and they drag you around to the the VA hospital in the back.
Well, no, it's like they could have seen me, but there was nothing pressing going on at the VA
Mm.
ER, so they were able to see me right then.
Gotcha. It was like a speed thing. That actually makes sense.
Um, so it's normally like, and even back when I had my vasectomy done, like I think I scheduled that like 3 months out, but that's a outpatient surgery, like voluntary outpatient surgery.
Mm.
Cost me that much monies. But if I wanted to get it reversed, I'd have to pay for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, and I don't know if the VA does that, but I'd have to pay to get it reversed. But who
Gotcha.
cares? I don't give a shit. If I'm meant to have a kid, I'll have enough money to be allowed to adopt one.
Oh, interesting. Becca really wants to adopt a boy. That's something she's really passionate about. And
And say you could adopt me.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, though. You can be our uncle. All
I
right.
was gonna say
You're
adopt
the
somebody older than you. How does that work?
yeah. No, you're the crazy uncle. Okay, that's where we adopted you.
Yep, that's fair. Oh, but yeah, the I think adoption is a great thing. I think I understand why it is as difficult as it is because you get stories like um, the gay couple that just went to prison who had adopted like a 1 year old boy.
Mm.
The 1 year old boy died, and in the autopsy they found semen in the lungs.
Oh,
And it's like I understand why adoption is hard because you have shit like that,
yeah,
but it didn't prevent that.
yeah.
And it's like it's one of those. It's the same situation with like gun violence. How do you
Hmm.
stop the people who have not done a crime yet? You can't.
Yeah,
And so that's those two fuckers are in prison and they're probably not having a very good time
good.
because you don't fuck with
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely. Criminology is such a tough field. Like I truly feel for everyone that chooses that path in life. That is not easy. Same for like medicine and things like that. Like those certainly have their challenges, but
Oh yeah.
criminology, like a lot of the first responders, that is a tough role.
Well, that's like Angry Cops. He is a police detective in Buffalo, but he's also still uh, he's active reserve for the Army. He does a lot of drill sergeant stuff down in Engineer Land, Fort Leonard Wood.
Oh.
So he'll do, I think, he'll do like red face stuff for like his 2 weeks in the summer. He'll go down to Fort Leonard Wood and be a hat, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
especially if the kids notice you, like that's
like
that's a tough
everybody
one.
at this point, everybody knows who he is. Most of the
Yeah, so
kids
that
won't
it
say anything
means
because he'll smoke them so bad for it.
okay. That makes sense then. That makes
And
sense then.
he's like, because it used to be like, oh my god, are you angry cops? And he'd just smoke the dog shit out of somebody. And he's talked about it enough times, people coming up
That
and
they don't do
recognizing
anymore.
him, that he smokes the dog shit out of. And so now that pretty well stops people from doing it, unless it was like they're at the end of a cycle and the guys are about to be leaving basic for AIT, then they can kind of get away with it. But like him and Donut were talking, it's like when you've got the military stuff, because Angry Cops was over in Iraq, it's over there.
Hmm.
And you come home. You don't have a whole lot of decompression time, but you've got some. But with being a police officer, it's in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then you go home to the home in your neighborhood where you just, whatever that call was that you just came from, is right there. And it's like, or come off of a call that they just found some incredibly unfortunate situation with like a child or whatever, and it just kind of fucks with your head. And then they get to go on, and now they're doing a traffic stop, and the guy at the traffic stop wants to be a dickhead. It's like,
Yeah.
I understand why some people are assholes to the cops. I also think they don't understand that the cops do more than just pull them over.
Yes.
Which is very annoying. Like, I don't like a lot of cops. I've met my fair share that can all burn in hell. But it's one of those, I still am not going to be an ass when the cop walks up to my window. I want to be as nice as humanly possible, and maybe he's just like, you know what? You're not worth it. Here's a warning. Fuck off.
Yeah. That's always the thought. Like, I'll just be nice. We'll see how this plays out. At the end of the day, worst thing that should happen is I get a ticket.
Yeah. It's kind of like being in boot camp and basic training. The fastest way out of it is just to finish.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, you want to go home? Finish boot camp first. You've seen the holdover platoons.
Yeah.
Dudes that have been there for like 6 months. Like, oh.
Yep. Yeah, happy to say I didn't have to suffer through that for recruit training command. I did have to face that for my A school, but that's just because I was a piece of shit. I failed out of my class 2 separate times because fuck 'em, I was terrible.
What is A school for a medic aside from going to Fort Sam Houston?
That's what it is. So we recruit training command up in Illinois, then go down to Texas. From there, then I go to C school, which is FMF, or it's the FMTB, Field Medical Training Battalion. But the one at San Antonio, that was the A school. So that was HM school. It was us and the Air Force got the same training. And then the Army had their own separate school. And yeah, I flunked out twice because I'm stupid.
And then the Marine Corps is over here teaching CLS and basic. It's redneck medicine. Air goes in and out, blood goes roundy. Keep those going in that fashion.
Keep it fucking simple, man. Absolutely.
I remember coming out, fix it.
Yes. Yes, no, absolutely. I remember I trained. So I was a T-Triple-C trainer, and I did it for some time. I got to go to the course for it, and I ended up creating immediate medical skills, like book,
Yeah.
and I translated it in Spanish. We ended up doing that and training multiple of the Mexican Marines in Mississippi,
Nice.
going down to Mexico, and then teaching them in the Bahaman Royal Navy. And so they all learned like my training. I ended up teaching like 1,400 people immediate medical skills. We couldn't call it T-Triple-C because of
Yeah.
licensing, but yeah, I spent a lot of time training people. And
As,
dude, keep
as
it fucking stupid
I was
simple.
gonna say, did they give your chief petty officer the oh what the hell, the NAM, the Navy Achievement Medal
I,
for the shit
no,
that you
I don't
made?
think I had a chief. I didn't have a chief on that deployment. So for that one, I was it was one IDC, so one independent duty corpsman. Think like physician
Yeah.
assistant, like they can do all the same shit as like a physician can. They just don't have the title of it. So IDC, and then we had two corpsmen, and that was it. And then we were supporting it, and we split up into different locations. And yeah, man. But dude,
Well, that was the
we
joke.
would
It's like
gas.
you do stuff, and instead of you getting the award for
Yes,
having
and then the
done it,
chief gets the
Chief
award.
gets
Yep,
the award for what you did that he didn't even ask you to do.
yep. No, didn't happen to me. Yeah, no one got awards where I was, so you know.
You're hanging out with the Marines. The only people getting awards is Gunny.
Yep, yep. First sergeant got some stuff, you know. Gotta keep the rack looking nice.
God, have you ever looked at like the awards, like the ribbon stack of like World War II officers?
Some of them are fucking wild, just fucking here to
Well,
here,
see, the ones
the
that are not like
craziest.
that are the ones that were like World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
Yeah,
But like you look at Eisenhower, the supreme commander of Allied forces in World War II, he's got like 5 ribbons. And that was not his first conflict.
yeah.
It's like my word. Like, and nowadays we're handing out to officers awards like uh, old Soviet bloc countries where they get an award essentially for surviving another year instead of getting killed by Stalin.
That's a real one. Hey guys, you made it. Here you go. Take a pin.
Like North Korea hasn't actively been in conflict in 70 years. Officers are just pinned to hell and back.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, they keep them safe. All right, big dog. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, the so I guess final question from me to you. What are your thoughts on Rhodesia?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Rhodesia was the video that you shot over to me, and it is interesting. The thing is that when you brought up, sorry, it's a little bit more complex. Looking at it now and the way that it's grown, I don't necessarily know if saying that the Europeans leaving was good or bad. It seems objectively that it was bad because their quality of life went down from our point of view. But from their point of view, they were forced into a civilization society that they may have not chosen to be in. And that forced culture thrust upon them isn't going to be one that people just accept long term. So it's complex because I don't know like truly the details of what the takeover looked like. You know, what was the body count? What was the outcome of it? I'm sure it wasn't democratic. I'm sure it wasn't a discussion on them taking over. The stronger power took over. Yes, they built a civilization that they viewed fit, but they viewed the other like the previous civilization as savages. And although they had a different culture and society, who's to say it's wrong for them to live the way that they did for hundreds of years? Just because you can evolve and a civilization does change and improve from a perspective of health, cleanliness, sanitation. Like, yeah, civilization does have a lot of positives, but for different cultures where their history is important, and not just written, like a lot of it is verbal. Like that is how you pass on. Those legends are from some sort of history. Uh, Nothing wrong with that. Like I don't see an issue. Like for example, when the Vikings were living in their time frame, they lived by pillaging. Like that was how they did it. Some of them were farmers. They went through that, and then on the weekends, you grab your shit, you go with your boys, and you fucking pillage. Like who's to say at that time frame if that's right or wrong? Like I sure as fuck can't in my AC'd house and, talking to you across how far, like with my technology, like I am not going to put my own mentality on that. If those people of Rhodesia wanted to live a type of way and then were forced to live otherwise, whether it was better or worse in the long run, that forcing someone, like that's not the way to do it. Change is slow and deliberate for a reason. You have to truly buy in change. I think that if the way that they had met was on a different setting and they slowly showed them the benefits of Western society and civilization, like then it probably wouldn't have gone the way that it did.
There's a lot of background information that was not covered in that short little very sarcastic video. As far as like the European powers and even the United States telling other countries to not trade with Rhodesia. But there were a great number of people who were Rhodesian moving to South Africa. And a number of the people who fought to oust the white Rhodesians followed them to South Africa.
To where a very similar Western civilization style culture existed. That's interesting.
The warlord wanted to be in power, and he knew that the rest of the West was not willing to pick a fight with him over it. And then they're like, well, we just wanted to be in power. We didn't want you guys to go away after we killed a bunch of you. Please keep farming.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're not going to farm for you anymore. We're going to go away. And now they're feeling the same thing in South Africa, where a lot of the black South Africans are like, we don't want the white people, but we want them to keep farming because we don't know how to grow stuff. So that's one of the interesting things. That's the other flag that I've got. It's a Rhodesian flag. May she be worthy of the name is what the Latin is. Yeah, so fun times. I think that's that pretty good wrap up.
Hell yeah. All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me and Manny here on the first officially filmed episode of Degenerate Discussions. We didn't get quite as unhinged this time. It's a little easier to get unhinged in person. But we're both busy and kind of tired, so not quite the same energy. So any final words for the class?
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for checking us out.